Alright, before we begin, this is going to be my new PC build, mainly going to be used for Blender, VFX, cosplay editing, and a bit of games. Without further ado, here we go. Starting off with the motherboard, it's the Asus TUF Gaming X570 Plus Wi-Fi. I initially didn't want the one with a Wi-Fi option. Unfortunately, it's not available locally, so I had to make do with this one. For the processor, I chose AMD's Ryzen 7 5800X. It has 8 cores of 16 threads, base clock of 3.8 GHz, overclock up to 4.7 GHz. For the memory, I chose 2 sticks of T-Force Vulkan TUF with 16GB each stick, DDR4 3600 MHz frequency. For the operating system storage, I chose to go with Samsung's 970 EVO Plus, 2 sticks of 500GB, NVMe for the M.2 slots. Initially, I was supposed to get the 1TB one, however I chose to split it into 500GB in order to set up a dual boot system with Windows 10 and Windows 7 on the other one. The processor I got didn't come with any air coolers, and the one I wanted wasn't available. So for the cooling, I just went with Deepcool Gamax L240 liquid cooling with RGB. What I didn't expect, however, was that the case I got didn't actually support 240mm radiators. So while I was assembling this, it didn't occur to me that I would have a problem regarding this. Eventually, it led me to purchasing a new case in order to properly finish my build. The following morning, I was able to purchase a new one fairly quickly through Facebook Marketplace. The previous case that I got was the InPlay eSport 02 mid-tower gaming case. However, as I've said earlier, the case doesn't actually support the 240mm radiator to be placed either on top or front. It just doesn't fit. The next case that I got was the Rack Hawani Flow PC gaming case, but the black one wasn't available, so I just got the white one. However, it worked in my favor since the white one is really nice. For the power supply, I went with Kogar's 650 watts PSU GEX 80 Plus Gold Standard Modular. This is the first time I'd be handling something like a modular PSU. However, I wanted to make sure that I didn't have any extra cables running around the case. It's a great advantage to have just precise cables that you need, so you'd have much more space for cable management. Aside from the NVMe SSDs for the operating systems, I'm adding in a Samsung 870 EVO 1TB SSD drive, which I will be using to store active files I'm working on. This is very efficient for working on large files and programs such as Blender and Photoshop, making file access much quicker than regular hard drives. But I am also adding a standard Toshiba hard drive where I'll be putting the rest of the files in. I intend to put everything that I'm working on in the SSDs and the rest of the archives on the standard hard drives. This new case has a lot more mounting holes compared to the previous one, finally allowing me to install my AIO water cooler. For the GPU, I chose Gigabyte's RTX 2060 with a core clock of 1755 MHz, 1920 CUDA cores, a memory clock of 14,000 MHz, and a VRAM memory size of 6 GB. After completing the build, I installed the OS and programs, then immediately proceeded to test Blender. Animating seems fine, but rendering is another matter. I felt like I wanted a bit more in terms of render speed, so I decided to sell this GPU and get another one. The highest GPU that I can afford and buy with this current GPU shortage is the Gigabyte Aorus RTX 3060 Elite, with essentially double the 2060 specifications, giving so much more performance in render time and gaming. Since I was opening up the case to install the GPU, I decided to switch the AIO fans from pull to push configuration and place them in front of the radiator. With my UPC build finished, I'm eager to get back into 3D animation and gaming. Hope you enjoyed the time-lapse of my build. If you liked the video, please consider giving a thumbs up. Thanks for watching!